Hi, welcome to my live stay-at-home workout. Today is day 3 this week. That means I'll be focusing on the hinge pattern. So the big exercise for today is going to be some Romanian deadlifts with a band for a little bit of added resistance. Okay, now before we get into that though, I always start with a little bit of core bracing. So core bracing, whole point here is to do exactly what it sounds like, to get your core ready for those bigger compound lifts that we'll be working into. All right, so I'm gonna do something that's kind of a standard for me, I call it the plank circuit. I'm gonna do side plank on either side and a classic forearm plank right in the middle of those two side planks as well. Gonna be holding about 20 seconds in each position. So side plank's gonna be from the elbow. Gonna address it a couple of different ways. You can do strided feet with top leg forward, a little bit easier to balance. Or you can do stacked feet with the ankles, one on top of one another like that. A little bit more of a balance challenge. I'm going to do stacked feet. Start with strided if you've never done this before, okay? We'll be on the elbow. We're going to bridge up at the hips like so. Staying nice and tight, nice straight line from the bottom of the feet through the top of the head. Squeezing in here with that elbow, bringing it sort of in towards the torso. Make sure this area is nice and tight. You see my upper arm's a straight line. My shoulder is stacked over top of the elbow. That's going to be a healthy shoulder position there for me. This arm, I usually just let it chill. You can do this if you like, okay? Make sure you're that nice straight line the whole time and that your rib cage isn't flaring. You want to think ribs down, ribs flat, okay? We're going to move into forearm plank here, which is basically just classic plank. You want that back nice and flat, your butt not too high up in the air, midsection tight obviously, you don't want to let that midsection sag. Also you don't want to let your head droop, so you want to think shoulder blades protracted forward. You notice there's a decent amount of room between my shoulders and my ears, so I'm showing a lot of neck, so I don't want to get shrugged in like a shrugged position here. And we're just going to roll over in a side plank on the other side. It's going to be a mirror image of that first side plank basically. Once again, squeezing in here to keep that lat tight, thinking ribs down. If your rib cage is flaring, it means you are arching, probably in the lower back, and you definitely want to avoid that. Want to keep that nice straight line from the top of the head through the bottom of the feet. And relax here. A little breather, shake that off. You're going to do that one more time. Okay. So if you tried strided feet last time and it was kind of easy, why don't you try stacked feet this time? Make it a little bit more challenging for you, okay? This exercise isn't meant to be too taxing. It is a sort of a warm-up exercise. It's meant to engage the core, to brace the core for the exercises that follow, which is where we're really going to put our focus into. Okay, so we're bridging up at the hips, nice straight line, staying super tight, and just hanging out here. Once again, stacked straight up and down here. We got the shoulder over top of the elbow. That upper arm is a nice straight up and down line. And squeezing in, keeping this side nice and tight. A few more seconds here. Gonna roll right into the classic forearm plank, making sure you're not hanging out on your shoulders. You got those shoulder blades protracted forward and away from the ears. Core super tight. You want to think about bringing your lower ribs and your hips together, knitting those things together. That's going to help you keep the core nice and tight. Squeeze the glutes too. I like to do that. Squeeze the legs. Kind of just keep everything super tight. It's going to help you keep this nice form, that nice straight line. Now let's roll into side plank on the other side. Last side plank here. Exact same thing we've been doing. Almost there. And relax. Okay, so how these workouts work in case it's your first one that you're tuning in for. We usually got 4 exercises, working different parts of the body. I like to focus on the 4 big movement patterns being hinge, squat, upper body push, upper body pull, but I like to work accessory work in there on some days as well. Okay, and then I will be topping things off with a finisher later on at the end of the workout. But for those 4 exercises, they'll all go as a superset, 3 big sets, 10 reps of each. So that's pretty much what it's all about. And equipment-wise, today I've got a variety of equipment here, a few different bands. But first of all, I got my weight, which is just a 10-pound ball. If you got a dumbbell or a kettlebell, it's going to work fine. I've got my main resistance band here, about a 1/2 inch in width. If you have something similar or a little bit lighter, a little bit more tense, that's great. If you don't have a band, it's no big deal. The band just is going to make certain exercises harder, which you don't necessarily have to do. I actually also have a very light resistance band here, which I'm going to do some restorative work with one particular exercise that I'll show you. And then I have another band, which is a lower body resistance band, one of these sort of loops for the legs here, which I'll be incorporating into the finisher. Once again, if you don't have one of these, it's not a big deal. It just makes the work a little bit harder by adding more resistance. Okay, so that first exercise is going to be, I think I mentioned, the banded Romanian deadlift. So Romanian deadlift is your basic hinge with knees nice and soft. You will be pushing the butt back, and usually you'd be grabbing a weight or a barbell right about shin height here. You'd be pushing the hips forward and just getting tall with that weight in your hand, like so, not bending at the back, but hinging at the hips with the core super tight, hips always leading the motion, and driving through your heels to lift. So I'm going to do that with that ball, but also I'm just going to add this band here because 10-pound ball is fairly light for me on this particular exercise. If it's your first time trying it, by all means, do it with a light weight, no band, or just no weight at all, just to practice the movement. It's all good. I'm going to get into a just pretty much classic deadlift stance here, which is about shoulder width. It's not quite as wide as the squat stance. I'm going to sneak my wrists in through this band, if you see that. So that's what the resistance is going to be coming from in this particular little setup that I've got here. Okay, I'm going to start hinged over. So you see I'm on about a 90-degree hinge here. I'm keeping the core tight, my shoulders back, my upper back's nice and tight here. From here, I'm going to drive through the heels. I'm going to bring those hips forward, and I'm just going to get tall and at the top. Wow, does that band ever want to pull me down, right? I'm going to push the butt back. I'm going to do 10 of those, okay? So that was just a practice one. That's 1. See, that ball goes straight up and down. It doesn't swing out in front of me. That's 2. Staying super tight. That's 3. But knees nice and soft. Don't lock out the knees. That's 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. If you notice there, key thing is the spine is nice and neutral the whole time. So from the side, just looks like that. And I'm just getting tall, not leaning back. I'm also not bending at the neck or anything like that. It's all in the hips there. All right, the spine is just a straight line. All right, second exercise. I was a little bit remiss in not mentioning that you will need one other piece of equipment, which I'm going to use a stool, but a chair will work, this couch would work, a bench, a bed, doesn't matter, because we're going to be doing some tricep dips. So you just want a little elevated, stable surface that's not going to move out from behind you. Okay, so you can do this with knees bent, you can do this with knees, legs straight out, however you want to do it. Basically, you want those arms behind you. Make sure the weight of your weight is driving through the base of your palms. You're not like bending your wrists back, so to speak. So get comfortable there, okay? Gonna keep the core nice and tight. Gonna keep that same degree of hinge at the hips there, and you're just basically doing that. So lowering yourself down, pushing through the base of the palms, and just straightening out those arms. So those are tricep dips. We're gonna do 10, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If it's a little uncomfortable for you doing with the elbows pointing straight back like that, that's not unusual. Maybe a more comfortable setup might be sort of 2 chairs, one on either side of you, 2 countertops or bars if you were in a gym, right? That you can kind of do that with. All good, whatever's comfortable for you, that's just the way I like to do it. Okay, next next up, I'm going to hit a squat pattern variation. It's actually not going to be a squat, it's going to be a lunge. So we're going to do some goblet style reverse lunges. So goblet style just means you're going to hold the weight like so, close to the chest, elbows are tucked in. I'm going to keep the core super tight throughout this exercise. I'm going to start up here, starting tall, okay? I'm going to step back by keeping most of my weight on the front foot. That knee can kiss the ground if you want it to, in the back there, but it doesn't have to. And by no means do you want to drop onto it and lay your weight on it. About 60-70% of your weight is going to be on that front leg. You're driving through the front heel, keeping the toes clamping down for balance, and keeping pretty much upright in the trunk, core nice and tight, spine neutral, and that weight in here nice and tight to the chest, okay? I'm going to be doing 10 of those. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, super tight, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Switching legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, that's your goblet style reverse lunge. Lastly, the fourth of 4 is our upper body pull, which is actually going to be a little bit of a restorative exercise today. Just going to do some nice easy band pull aparts with this light band right here, okay? Just going to sort of wrap around my fist there. Start with a little bit of tension on that band, arms straight out, shoulders back and down. I'm reaching out to the side, pulling that band apart, and I'm bringing my shoulder blades together and back. Little squeeze as I bring it together. Show you from the side here. I'm going to do 10 of these. Core nice and tight. You can do this standing up. I'm just doing this to stay in the frame, okay? 1, 2, no big deal. 3, almost like a stretch. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I love that one because it's a great antidote to that pull forward posture that we tend to adopt, especially when we're sitting around all day. Little break here, and we're going to hit that whole circuit 2 more times. I do like to keep things moving pretty quick in these workouts. Usually they only last about 20 minutes. Try to be as efficient as possible in that time. Get that cardiovascular work in there too, since I'm not really running outside or doing anything like that right now. So this time we'll move a little bit quicker. There'll be less explanation, so on and so forth. I'll still give the occasional cue here just to remind you. Take about 20 more seconds, then we'll get going. You can of course slow the pace down for yourself. It's all good. I do want to keep the heart rate elevated, but I don't want you to feel super fatigued to the point where you're like gasping for breath, because that's just counterproductive. Okay? I'm going to step on both sides of this band. I'm going to get set up here. A little tension on that band. Get my wrist through these loops there. Core nice and tight, shoulders back. Spine's neutral. Getting tall. 1, 2, pushing the butt back. Hips come forward. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, good stuff. Let's move on to those tricep dips. Get your surface of choice. Mine is this little stool here. Remember, through the base of the palms, that's where you want to be pushing. Okay, you don't want to be bending the wrists back or getting into an uncomfortable position. This is a bit of an awkward one to begin with. Okay, core super tight. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, good stuff, good stuff. We're gonna hit those goblet style reverse lunges. Of course, you do want to keep the pace up, but don't rush through these because there is a balance element present as well as I have learned on many of an occasion. Okay, super tight core here, stepping back, driving through that front foot for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Switching legs here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And lastly, we got those nice easy band pull aparts. I'll do them standing up this time just to show you. It's just a really simple stance. You know, you want to keep the knee soft, glutes tight, core tight, all that good stuff. And pull it apart. That's 2, 3, 4, 5. Shoulders back and down away from the ears. 7. You want to show lots of neck. 8, 9, and 10. Little breather here. And we'll hit that one more time. All right. There's not much I can do to further spice this exercise up because I don't have a lot of weights here, unfortunately. So I'm just going to keep doing what I've been doing, but there's definitely a way to make those goblet style reverse lunges a little more difficult, and I'll show you that when we get there. Okay? I am going to widen up my stance just a bit for a little bit more resistance on the band. That's all. All right? All right. Whoop. Gotta make sure I'm standing on that. Great. Gonna start bent over, core super tight, shoulders back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, we got tricep dips here. I'm gonna try something. See how it works. Just gonna bend the knees so I can get that weight in my lap. A little bit more weight on the dip. 1, 2, 3. If you're in this position, you gotta really concentrate. Make sure you're not driving through your heels of your feet. Want to make it all upper body. That's 7, 8, 9, 10. Definitely felt the difference on that one. All right. I'm going to try alternating the legs on each lunge here. By no means do you have to follow me, but you're invited to. I haven't done this in a long time, so we're going to see how it goes. Third set, might as well go for broke, okay? Super tight. 1, 2, 3, 4, going to 20 of course. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. All right. So that's the goblet alternating reverse lunge. And lastly, we got those nice easy band pull aparts. Chance to catch your breath here. Shoulders back and down, squeezing the shoulder blades together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Few deep breaths here. Slow that heart rate down. Gonna get a little water myself. And we're gonna hit that finisher. One of my personal favorites, the glute abduction ladder. So you're gonna start in a basic glute bridge, except if you have one of these bands, you're gonna loop it just above the knees. And if you don't, it's no worries, you're still gonna get a lot out of this, okay? Gonna lay flat on my back, hands just chilling on my sides. See, my knees are bent, my feet are flat on the floor. So glute bridge is when I drive through the heels and I bridge up like that at the hips, squeezing the glutes at the top, keeping my eyes down on the hips the whole time so that I don't go bridge too high up and hyperextend my lower back. That's a no-no. So a good cue to avoid that is to look at the hips, because if you're looking up, that's probably where you go, right? Okay, and the second part is the abduction. So let's say I'm up here. To abduct, I push the knees out. So the abductors are those little muscles in the hips that make the thighs open, basically. I'm pushing out against that band. It's trying to pull me in. If you don't have a band, you can still do this, and you'll still feel something for sure. Okay, the latter part is, the reps always add up to 11. So the first set I'm going to do 10 bridges, 1 abduction. Then I'm going to do 9 bridges. I'm going to stay up there on the 9th one for 2 abductions, 8 bridges, stay up for 3 abductions, so forth till we get to 1 bridge, 10 abductions. Simple, it's going to be quick. I'm going to call it out. Okay, core super tight the whole time, obviously, with everything. Okay, it's going to start with 10 bridges. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Stay up for 1 abduction. 1. All right, 9 bridges. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 2 abductions. 1, 2, 8 bridges. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 3 abductions. 1, 2, 3, 7 bridges. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 4 abductions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 bridges. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5 abductions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 bridges. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 abductions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're almost there. 4 bridges. 1, 2, 3, 4. Staying up for 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, we got 3 bridges. 1, 2, 3, 8 abductions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 bridges. 1, 2, 9 abductions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1 bridge. 1, 10 abductions. Stay up there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and relax. I bet you're feeling that in the glutes. The math is honestly the most difficult part. All right, thanks very much, folks. I hope you had a good time and a good workout. Now it is time to foam roll, cool down, stretch it out, all that good stuff. If you're watching on Instagram, thanks so much for tuning in. If you're seeing it on YouTube later, thank you. And please subscribe for more, because I'll be back with more 6 days a week. All right, thanks, folks. Take care.